Good day, viewers. Welcome to a fresh edition of 30 Minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television with me, Manir Dan Ali. Our guest today is a practicing farmer from Sokoto State. I'm talking about Alhaji Danjuma Ibrahim, who for several years have been into crop farming and other farming-related activities back in his home state of Sokoto. Alhaji Danjuma, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Manir.
I'm wondering, you must be one of the lucky people in Sokoto, so to say, because as I understand, there are a number of local governments like Isa, Sabon Birni, Zurmi, and possibly others, where farming is under threat. Almost impossible because people are actually being picked from their homes. If they go to the farms, they get kidnapped, and in some instances, they have to pay some money for the bandits to allow them to farm. Do you come from a place where it is safe enough to actually farm?
Yeah, we are just being brave, and to say that we cannot abandon the farming because of how important it is. That is one. Two, there are less cases now of kidnap in our area. And there is fortified security around there too, because we are along the highway where there are a lot of checkpoints of the police and the military there also. And we had to spend so much on securing the place by, I think, to secure the farm, I had to deploy 3 excavators and some earth-moving equipments to dig trench around the whole farm, over 230 hectares.
So you had to literally spend money to turn it into some kind of fortification?
That is the first thing. In fact, the money is near the cost, it's in fact more than the cost of a round of production of a year. We have to do that before we now feel a little safe to be inside. Because even if the security agencies are around, if you are ambushed, there's nothing you can do. So we now had to dig trench around the farm so that whenever there's any incursion, we get some notice from
because of the barrier
that is there. Yeah.
In between, and it's not easy to be on a motorcycle.
Thank you very much. You can't use motorcycle to fly it. Yes. So you have to come through the gate, and that is what we have done now before we even started the farming.
But not many farmers could do that because in any case, many have very small holding that it's not worth doing that.
You see, I've always been saying this. There's no amount of farming that will be done in Nigeria if it is not commercial based that will satisfy our population. It's not possible. Subsistence farming can never ever carry us.
But it's been carrying us all these years because largely there are few commercial farmers like you, the ones who are doing in hundreds of hectares, thousands of hectares. The peasant farmers who do the subsistence farming, then they spare what they have extra, they sell, which is what ends up feeding those of us who may not be farming.
You see, all through the years, people thought that was what was feeding us. Well, it's not true. Nigeria imports a lot of grains. It was stopped when I think President Buhari came to power and gave so much emphasis to farming. Anko Borrowers was introduced, and this Anko Borrower was a very laudable program.
But it had big issues.
The issues, you see, anything without planning will never come to fruition, will never succeed. You have to do a critical study on issues. What will make it happen, feasibility studies and the rest of them before you now go into practice. The Anko Borrower was haphazardly brought in, not knowing the underlying problems that are associated with famine in Nigeria. You see, Manir, sorry to say, a lot of people might be offended, but this is just the true situation, and we have to say it as it is. This agriculture, whether we like it or not, it has to be the first priority of any government.
You mean ahead of all other areas,
everything.
Ahead of health, ahead of education?
Ahead of everything.
But
because without food,
contest that.
Without food, what will health be? Without food, what will the security agencies be? Without food, Maria, what will we be here? Will I be here with you without eating? Food is first, before anything. That's why you go to the hospital, the first thing you are told is, eat before you take your drugs. Because nothing works in empty stomach. The insurgency we are talking about is much less than hunger. Because hunger, there's no nuclear weapon that is as strong as hunger in the world.
So how does Nigeria deal with this challenge of food insecurity, say to say, because of some of the physical insecurity and because of the neglect of agriculture? How does Nigeria claw back to the position that it was in the 60s and 70s, when even a lot of its GDP contribution was from agriculture, a lot of its revenue earnings was from agriculture? That
time, the cartel now that exists in agriculture wasn't there.
Cartel?
There's a cartel now. I want to let you know that is what is happening. If you quantify the monies put into agriculture by the state governments, that's the subnationals to the federal government, the figure will shock you. And what is the resultant output? Near nothing.
But it costs also a lot of money to be able to do all the things that are needed, from the land clearing, mechanization, the inputs, the harvesting, the storage, and what have you, which are all very weak in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Let me take you back to during the military regime. There was this NALDA, Nigeria Agricultural Land Development Authority, that was created by, I think it was the Babangida regime.
I think even Buhari brought back something like that.
Okay, I was not sure. Under Ankoboroa.
Probably.
Yeah, there was the mechanization aspect of it. But this one I was talking, these machines, a whole parastatal was created that does land clearing. And so much support services were done then. This cartel I'm talking to you about now wasn't flourishing that time because people were not into it. Now, there has been cartel on fertilizer. There has been cartel on seed, which is the root of farming
activity.
Because you plant a bad seed, that's the end of the story.
From the beginning,
you have murdered the whole farming you are going to do. So you now find out that some people are there, they are not physical farmers, but they are feeding on agriculture.
But you know what you said about government doing things, the history is that government usually fails in this. It's happened even elsewhere under the Soviets and all of that. They are just filling figures about production when the actual production wasn't.
It's not true. Isn't true. Even now, let me give you one simple example. This dry season farming that just passed before this rainy season, there was an ambitious plan to do so many hectares of wheat. I think African Development Bank gave about $134 million, while JICA also gave Nigeria,
Japanese International Cooperation Agency,
gave Nigeria $100 million. I don't know if the JICA money was accessed, but I'm sure African Development Bank, about $100 million was
It must have been accessed because there were reports of officials of the bank visiting Jigawa to check on the wheat
Thank you very much.
that was grown there.
The thing was so poorly handled that whoever, the figures you are talking about, cooked figures, are just the figures coming out everywhere. Because whoever does not dismantle the cartel I'm talking about will have nothing. Because I'm a victim. I came in as enthusiastic as everything, as a businessman.
You wanted to participate?
Yes, seeing the whole, you see, the next billionaires in the world, trillionaires in the world are going to be farmers. Because you have to eat. And markets are there all over the world. Nigeria alone, whatever you produce, you don't even need to take it anywhere. Because you have people, the eating mouths are there to consume it. But you see, as I'm saying, for the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, whoever comes in as a president and does not look at how to deal with the issue of transparency and getting the right people, dismantling the architecture that is there, which has been there all along, and the same results have always been got. Figures cooked, money's out, no output. People's accounts are getting bigger. People scramble to get to offices in Federal Ministry of Agriculture just because they want to amass wealth. At the end of the day, those that are supposed to benefit from this thing, that we and the teeming Nigerian population don't see anything. All they see is soaring prices.
But isn't it the same story in other areas? Because the public service, the civil service is more or less dead. It's not delivering. There is no efficiency, as you said, no transparency. So probably in other areas, similar, it's not restricted to agriculture.
But the most dangerous one
is
that this of agriculture.
And how
people don't seem to bother.
How do you dismantle it if what you say is correct?
You see, the truth is, the right thing to do in Nigeria is to bring state of emergency on agriculture. That is the right thing. No country in the world procures more machineries than Nigerian government have been doing for the past 30, 40 years. Scrap sellers and second-hand dealers of agricultural equipments are flourishing everywhere. We buy machines day in, day out. I see state governments scrabbling and working on getting 1,000, 2,000 machines.
Just like the Niger State government is now doing,
a very serious,
saying that
they a very serious person
agriculture
with so much enthusiasm, wanting to make it happen. But I want to tell you, Adamanir, with this situation on ground, it's something that has been deep-rooted. Let me give you where it started. The smallholder farmer, who is supposed to be the main engine room in our agriculture.
Yes.
Because as a commercial farmer, I can do maybe 1,000 hectares, but that's not enough to do everything for me. I will have to have outgrowers who I give, like I have a factory which does flakes and powder already installed in Sokoto. This band A, band B, band C of our
the
power
electricity
is what has now made
put it on a dumper.
Put it under lock and key. A very gigantic thing, over $6 million project is there locked because I can't stand the band A, band B, band C. Now, the smallholder farmer, who is the engine room, has been taught to be an agent of theft.
How?
Every season that comes, fertilizer is said to be distributed. Farm inputs are said to be distributed. Alhaji Manir, a truck will come with the machines to be distributed and the farmers will assemble there. As they are collecting the inputs, a truck is there of the merchant who buys. They now take at maybe the pumping machine at maybe 55, 60,000. They go there and give the merchant there who gives them 20,000. cash, and they put it inside his machine.
They don't want to farm again?
How do they farm? They believe you have come for them to help you steal money. All of them, you see them as villagers, they don't know anything. They listen to radio, they hear that in Sokoto State, 5,000 or 10,000 pumping machines have been procured. So local government is going to have all the distribution will be said on television and radio. They listen.
Very interesting point there, but I'm afraid we've come to the point that we need to go on a short break and resume the conversation thereafter.
Okay.
Viewers, it is 30 minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television, and our guest today is Alhaji Danjuma Ibrahim, a commercial farmer based in Sokoto State.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, it is 30 minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television, and our guest today is Alhaji Danjuma Ibrahim, a practicing and commercial farmer who is based in Sokoto State. You are trying to unpack for us the issue of how there is no transparency and the whole system down even to the peasant farmer is designed not to achieve result but to just fool everybody.
My fingers were burnt. I came in with so much enthusiasm. 2020-21, I was one of the biggest producers of onion in the country because our area, Sokoto State, is the largest producer of onion.
Yes.
So I went into it with so much enthusiasm. With this commercial sense, I came in with a lot of inputs, went to Holland, Netherlands,
yes.
Bought the seeds, they have the best seeds, brought them into the country. There are companies that sell within the country here. We mopped up almost all the seeds they have. We did everything, launched what we were going to do. All the farmers were happy, not knowing I was going to fall into the trap of the cartel that have been created already. So we went with this enthusiasm, brought in a lot of smallholder farmers, farmer communities, farmer groups, outgrowers. We agreed with them, gave them inputs, gave them everything. They sold back the seed we gave them. They sold the pumping machines we gave them. They were collecting money for labor from me while they hadn't planted anything. We had mappings and everything, IT related. We did so many things. But those on the IT,
village peasant farmer defeated all
the technology because it's a cartel. Even those in the IT are working with them they are on the same page. So these smallholder farmers are waiting for you with their open arms to come with whatever you are coming with for them to help you steal.
But some say that it's probably because you don't go to the right farmers, you don't follow the right protocol, like getting maybe the village heads, the ward heads who are based there, who know the real farmers, and then some of the head of the farmers, because in every community there is the Sarkin Noma, that's the head of the farmers.
You are saying they are the head of the cartel at the village level. I went to all the places I did my farming. I went to the district head first. I went to all of them. We sat down, agreed before we got the list of people that were supposed to farm. You see, I want to ask you, Manir. I had over 6,000 outgrowers that time in Sokoto. How do you take 6,000 people to jail?
Big question.
What resources do I have to prosecute them?
And you are not even government.
I'm not even government. So when my fingers were burnt, and I did personally with my own, I had a lot of tractors. I think I had about 15 or so tractors and the rest of them. So I did a lot of farming in different places of this same onion. And that was why that year, because of the bumper harvest, what we did. That's why I'm telling you, Uncle Boras never failed, but it was failed by this cartel.
The cartel that you are mentioning.
When we came to the time of harvest, what your economy of production was about 15,000 to produce a bag of onion. Because no storage, as you mentioned, no processing, we were forced to be selling a bag of onion at 3,000.
So each bag you sold, you had a loss of 11,000.
Or 12,000 naira at the selling point.
That means you look for the exit.
So we now went to do the local storage, which was the practice since our forefathers. We did the storage in a very big land. You know what happened to us? Bandits set the storage on fire. In Sokoto, you must have learned there was one time that bandits set ablaze a storage area of onion. We lost billions there. So I had to now retreat, and I now knew that the production was not even the problem of onion. No, the problem is storage and processing. That was when I went to Netherlands. I went to about 4 countries where who were advanced at storage and everything and processing of onion. That was where I was able to get the machines. I built the factory and installed them in Sokoto.
Where you would be doing the onion flakes.
Onion flakes, powder. In fact, not only onion flakes, powder, tomato, turmeric, garlic, all these perishables. All of them will be processed there and dried.
But doesn't your own experience tell you that the peasant farmer is still the king? That commercial farmers like you can at best only succeed in the processing area, not in the actual production?
No, this is what moved me to what I'm doing now. Now you said, where am I coming from now? I said I'm coming from the farm. I left Sokoto yesterday just to get here so that, as you said, we need to speak. That was why I'm here. Because this is the peak of the period. We're doing things about this one. I now discovered, look, if I have to succeed, then I have to take the bull by the horn by getting my farm, equipping the farm with about 250 hectares of land, digging the trench first to secure the farm.
And then planting the right seeds.
Then land clearing.
Yeah.
Land clearing is very, very expensive. So we had to do that. And now, alhamdulillah, we are planting about 70 hectares of millet. We are planting about 80 hectares of rice. And we are doing about 40 hectares of soya beans. And our local beans also, we are doing about a large hectare of it. So I am doing it myself, practically, now. Because I don't have belief in the smallholder farmer again, unless if there is serious reorientation and security measures put in place.
So, but in all this that you are doing, was the government support or encouragement for you to do what you are doing?
Well, I've always known that waiting for government, nothing happens. Up to this time that I'm talking to you now, I think I could say that this is one of the biggest commercial adventure farming being done now in Nigeria. I've not seen
No, but there are people who are doing bigger hectares.
They are doing
I have had people who are doing
I want you to go there.
Thousands of
I want
hectares.
You to go.
I have been in some of them.
Thank you very much. Yes. Alhamdulillah, they are doing very well.
Yes.
Like in Kefi, you have the Abdullah Adamu. His farm is very big. He's doing, mine is not at that scale yet. But I want to tell you that for success to come, I want you to discuss with Abdullah Adamu, the former governor of Nasarawa State, and ask him of his challenges.
Now, his fingers must have been burnt several times, but he has endured.
if your fingers are not burnt, you can't get to where I am now. You cannot. Because you will lose faith and run away.
But you've decided that you won't
No,
lose faith,
I want
you
to
won't
tell
run
you,
away.
Manir, I want to tell you one thing. I intend, you see, we are doing this year. I intend to do this in about 5 states. You see, Kaduna, I have a farm in Kaduna. I'm thinking of Abuja here. I have a farm in Abuja here also. I'm thinking of going to Niger too.
To ride on the back of the farmer governor.
Farmer governor, yes. And I'm thinking of going to Nasarawa. Because you see, where you have about 7 months, 6-7 months rainfall, what else do you need? We have the land. We have the rain from God. We have human resources, human capital. There's nobody that can boast of these ones I'm telling you like us. But we have polluted them. Some people have succeeded in destroying the engine room of agriculture in Nigeria.
That is why I asked you, and it should be one of the final questions, if not the final question. Yeah. What do we do? How do we get out of the quagmire that you painted?
These security summits and the rest of them that are being done, yeah, they are fantastic. But the most serious summit to be done is agricultural summit.
But summit is just talk. You know, it seems as if in Nigeria, we think talking about something is like actually doing it. While they are two separate things.
I don't know, without punishment, nothing will get done in Nigeria. Without punishment.
That's those who
the smallholder farmers that have wrecked me, took all the monies and the rest of them I came to do the farming with. They are still waiting for another victim. And
as they say in Hausa, Wawan Kanawa.
That's their slogan. That's their slogan. Who came? The educated thieves that have come with money.
Rush out as well.
Thank you. So you see, without punishment, and that is what is happening in the whole spheres of our lives in Nigeria.
Can a country be built on that kind of
It's never possible. It's never possible. Why I'm talking to you about this state of emergency need to be put in Nigeria on agriculture, because that is the most important aspect of our lives.
Excellent point to end this interview. Thank you very much, Alhaji Danjuma Ibrahim, for coming onto the program.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to enlighten some of our people and to tell the government they need a different direction to agriculture. This one, the one they have met and the one they are working with, that has never given any result, will not bring any different result from what they have had before, what we have had before.
That's the end of this edition of 30 Minutes. Keep a date with us.